Read about the things that happen throughout the world. Don't believe in everything you see or hear. Read all about it. Read all about it. It's a world. It's a world. Read all about it. Read all about it. It's a world. It's a world.
Hello and welcome to Mock the Week. I'm Dara Breen and joining me this week are Andy Parsons, Andy Osho and Alan Cochrane, Chris Addison, Hugh Dennis and Stuart Francis. We start with a round call of This Is the Answer, What is the Question? On the board are 6 categories. Andy, which category would you like?
Sport, please.
OK, your category is sport and the answer is 11 days. What is the question?
Is it how many days has it taken Madame Tussauds to melt down their Pavarotti waxwork?
He's dead. This is a big opera crowd.
Is it how long did I have to spend by the hotel pool this summer before I saw a lady who wasn't reading 50 Shades of Grey?
Is it how much of the last month does Prince Harry remember?
Is it when are G4S's security staff going to turn up at the Olympic Park?
Is it who was at Darren Day's family reunion?
Is it what reaction time is definitely too slow for a fighter pilot?
Is it how long's just right for a holiday? Because 14 days is too long. If you go for 2 weeks, you spend the last 3 days going, it's too long, isn't it?
Is it how long I've had this pesky erection, ladies?
How long did it take before the Essex Lion got a vajazzle?
Is it, how long does it take to watch 12 series of 24? Because they're slightly shorter for the adverts, you see.
When you watch the show, is that why your holidays feel slightly too long?
Is it in fact, according to his tax return, how many days' work did Jimmy Carr do last year?
Hey, Jimmy, we're all there for you.
How long should you cook a mammoth in a category D oven?
Is it how long, now that he's not famous, it takes Craig David to woo a girl?
Is any of the correct answer? Very straightforward.
Is it how long does the Paralympics last for?
Very good, thank you very much. Yes. The question I was looking for was how many days of sporting action are there in these record-breaking London Paralympic Games? The London Paralympics look set to be the most successful ever. TV viewing figures are in the millions and events are selling out within minutes of new tickets being released. Have you been watching the Paralympics?
Yeah. Oh, it's brilliant, wasn't it? The opening ceremony, I loved that. Ian McKellen on stage. I did think it was a bit of a risk, though, booking Magneto when there were so many wheelchairs kicking around. I saw all those wheelchairs flying through the air. I thought he's up to his old tricks again. And then there was Stephen Hawking there as well, wasn't it? I wondered if it was actually Stephen Hawking or whether it was just Professor X in disguise and he was all going to kick off, you know, and Stratford would be reduced to what it looked like 7 years ago.
Was it just me or was Hawking lip-syncing?
There is an issue of tone here. You've got to come with us some of the way and then let the Daily Mail decide.
People have got weird preconceptions about it. That's one of the most astonishing things is that people are saying, this is incredible, this is really good sport. Of course it is. These are elite athletes. It's not a charity day out. It isn't a pat on the head for these people. These are highly competitive people. You think it's competitive in the field. You should see it in the athletes' village where they're fighting for the disabled car parking spaces.
Why I found a bit confusing about the whole thing, though. I mean, I'm watching it and I'm loving it, and I think it is fantastic, but I'm finding the classifications a bit confusing. Because until last weekend, for me, an F-42 was a fighter plane or a night bus to Brent Cross Shopping Centre.
Why do you go to a shopping centre at night?
Well,
The thing about the classification is, it is confusing because there's so many different, there's all different levels, track field and all the rest of it. And they start from quite severe disabilities all the way up to the minor stuff. But I think they should give some able-bodied a chance by bolting on some, like, really mild stuff on the end. Like a really forgetful gymnast, just forgetting their entire routine and just doing a dozen forward rolls. Ta-da! Ta-da!
They don't do that enough, gymnasts, generally. Ta-da!
You
You improve it so much because they always kind of go, but they never go, ta-da! They should.
I've been thinking about this. I quite like to see some cheating in the Paralympics. Because, you know, in the Olympics, cheating's kind of boring, isn't it? It's like it's doping and stuff like that. But in the Paralympics, there's so much scope in cheating. You know, for, you know, really kind of wacky racist stuff. Things going boing. You know, I'd like to see somebody win by coming from behind with a chin that shoots out on a step. It'd be amazing.
You know, a wheelchair with a flywheel inside it, like, you know, like a wind-up car, and then so that one of the people suspiciously is backed into his starting thing, and then goes, oh, fuck! Shoots down. Yeah. Wait a minute. Of all the events that have been fantastic, and the wheelchair basketball has been, because it's like this is a genuine. This is not in any way a mock-up. This is a sport that these are the best people at the world at, right? But it's properly brutal. If for no other reason you knock somebody over, the rest of the team just leaves. And there's a guy, and it's really like, he's gone. He's dead to us. Leave him. He can back up again. He can join in again.
They do this. They just spring back up into their chair. I've never seen anybody do anything quite like it. Well,
very rarely do you see somebody in a wheelchair falling over and everyone going, no, leave him. You have to spring back up.
You say that, but I live in London.
My favourite event is the blind running. I love it. When they run with a guide, that is fantastic, isn't it? Because you're thinking, you know, obviously what happens is the people who can see, they have to tell the one who can't see, they have to tell them when to overtake and stuff like that. But you're thinking, what happens when the blind runner is full of running and the guide is knackered? You know, they're going, oh, no need to overtake just yet. No, we're doing fine. We're in the lead. Oh, I'm sorry, we can't sit.
Guides. Like I saw Libby Clegg, who's a visually impaired runner, and she runs with a black guy, but not all of them run with guides. So it feels like a little bit of an unfair advantage. She's basically being dragged around by Usain Bolt.
Somebody said that to me. Said, yeah, but they're being pulled by faster. They're not being pulled, though, are they? You don't see 8 blind people being dragged over the line. They're strapping huge.
Where are we going?
Where are we going? Horse racing. That's clearly cheating because those jockeys have got massive horses underneath them.
My favourite bit of commentary was an interview, actually, in the proper Olympics. There was an interview with a guy called Ross Murray, I think. He was a British runner who not qualified for the semi-finals of the 1,500 metres. He was a protege of Steve Cram. He'd come, like, 6th or something in his race. And the guy said, well, what went wrong, Ross? And he went, well, I came from the north. He said, well, I think it's to be honest, it was a lot harder for me out there than it was for the Ethiopians and the Kenyans because, you know, they've been hard at it for 4 years. And to be honest, I've been hard at it since January after 2 years on the lash.
I never watch any of the sports and think I could do that. I just find one of the few depressing aspects of the Olympics is just constantly watching sports and inevitably comparing yourself to the athletes. This is hopeless. Because I'm sitting at home watching Usain Bolt run 100 metres in under 10 seconds. My personal best at the 100 metres is 80 metres.
I think actually that depression of what they achieve is even worse for the Paralympics because they conquer so many different challenges and I watch it and it just brings me down because I think I once didn't go running because I had a sore finger.
Do you watch any of the canoeing? I love the canoeing. The reason I love the canoeing, my favourite bit of it was that there was a double kayak pair, British pair, called Florence and Hounslow. And I thought, that is the most unlikely town twinning in history. We have the Uffizi Gallery. Yes, we have works by Leonardo da Vinci and Michelangelo. And you?
Oh, we have a very large branch of Staples.
Yeah, and the points go to Chris, you and Stuart. Now we play a round called Oscar Pistophius. This game involves Stuart, Andy and Andy, so if you could make your way to the performance area, please. This round is a stand-up challenge. I launch the wheel of news, and whoever chooses to stop, one of our performers must step forward and talk about that subject. The winner is whoever I think is the funniest. OK, here we go. The first subject is... the police. Andy Parsons.
Police, you say?
Yeah?
I thought it was going to be bondage. So the police, often into bondage, aren't they? The police, they've done away with annual fitness tests. Apparently, the only people who are going to get fitness tests now are some of the specialist positions, marksmen and women, and dog handlers. And you're thinking, well, surely they're the only set of people who don't actually need to be fit. They never need to chase a suspect, do they? They can either shoot them or set the bloody dog on them. And also, the police, they've been keeping our DNA for 12 years. 12 years, right? Even when we've been innocent. And they were quoting some statistics from the Jill Dando Institute for Crime Science. Now, I have a few problems with the Jill Dando Institute for Crime Science, not least because they've yet to find the killer of Jill Dando. That, to me, would be like having the Lord Lucan Missing Persons Helpline.
Thank you very much, Andy Parsons. The next subject is... dating. Who wants to go in that?
OK.
Andy Usher.
Yes. Well, I think that dating and technology do not go together. This is a true story. It was in the Metro, so it must be true. A brother and sister who were separated as children met each other again through a dating website. And they only found out 3 weeks into dating. And it was reported as a good news story as well, because the woman was like, oh my God, we've got so much in common. I'm thinking, yeah, like your DNA. Like, this is only a good news story if they found out before anything happened. Like, you don't want to find out like this. Like, oh my God, my brother had a mole on his dick. What did you say your surname was? There are some good things about technology and dating. There's this app, Grindr, that gay guys are using. For those of you who don't know, basically, it tells them how far they are from another available gay man. I was telling a friend this, and he was like, so it's like a tracker. It's not a tracker. OK, you're not hunting gay men. It's not that. It's not that. And also, the guys have to be registered on the website. You know, you can't use your iPhone as a gaydar. You can't sort of just go up to someone and go... You are fabulous. But anyway, I downloaded Grindr onto my phone, and there were like, as soon as I fired it up, there were like 70 registered guys within 10 metres of me. It was amazing. Do you know what it was like? You know that scene in Aliens where they're surrounded by the aliens? They go, 10 metres. That's in the room. You can't be reading it right. I am reading it right. They're coming through the goddamn wall. I'm not saying shoot gay men. There's a film called Aliens.
Thank you very much, Andy Usher. OK, that leaves us with Stuart. Let's see what you've been left with. Let's spin the wheel. The topic is family.
Homesick. Does my wife think I'm a control freak? I haven't decided yet. She used to hate that joke. Now she loves it. The other night there at a party, my wife got drunk and told everyone she invented the Echo. I said, listen to yourself. I'm not thrilled that my wife's into bondage, but my hands are tied. pretty woman. I call her Dollface because she's so pretty. And she's missing an eye. I think we were both on bumper cars when I first caught my wife's eye. Now, we actually met at a sushi restaurant, and last week we went back for old time's sake. Actually, I don't think it's pronounced that way.
Thank you very much to your father. Points at the end of that round go Andy. Every step back down. Now we play a round called Picture of the Week. I show the panel a topical image and ask them to tell me what's happening. So teams, why was this man in the news recently?
Oh, it's what's happened in Vegas, not staying in Vegas.
Yes, very much so, yeah. Why is that?
Because he was playing strip billiards and we all found out.
Yes.
It's hijinks, isn't it? It's just Harry. He takes after his dad, whoever that is.
Should they print the pictures?
It was a weird moment for newspapers when the Sun printed the picture saying, here's the picture you've all seen already. It's like the opposite of news, isn't it?
The Royals haven't actually complained after they've printed the picture,
No.
have they? Because I guess they're thinking, well, you know, if he's naked, at least he's not wearing a Nazi uniform.
I did think strip billiards sounded a bit.
Strip billiards, it's hard enough dating as it is, but if you're waiting for a girl who understands the rules of billiards, you're going to die alone, aren't you?
So billiards sounds so posh as well. It's like, were they done with playing Spin the Pauper?
People were saying, though, that he was a gentleman because in the photos he had his hands over the breasts of the woman. Yeah. And you're thinking, obviously, the definition of gentleman has changed a bit since I was born.
It's nonsense spinning it. Oh, he's just being a normal soldier.
He is.
Yeah, he's being a normal soldier. Like all those other soldiers with their $900 a night private bungalows in the grounds of a Las Vegas mansion. It's this bullshit that we get sold the whole time. Oh, he's just like us. They're just like us, the royal family. They're not. They're not just like us. You have never accidentally ended up in a part of your house you've never been in before. They are not like us.
The kitchen.
Apparently, though...
1970s joke.
The troops in Afghanistan, they've all come out in support, haven't they?
Yeah.
By taking photos of themselves, you know, stripped completely naked.
Yeah.
And it's basically carry on up the Khyber all over again, isn't it?
These photos are actually, they were taken before the Harry thing. This is just down to government cutbacks.
It says they're doing it in support of Harry. They're not, are they? They're taunting him. They're stripping naked in the Afghan sun going, try it over here, ginger lad. And 2 minutes naked out there, he'd look like a baby bell.
Yes, there are websites of squaddies and squaddies' families who have supported Prince Harry, decided to, you know, I'm not saying that, you know, I'm not much of a royalist, but it's not, you know, I still think there's an important principle here that, you know, if a man wants to be naked at a party, then we should support that as much as we can. That's why I published this particular photograph. Proud to do that.
Interesting that you got an All Blacks tattoo there.
Yeah, it is actually. Yeah.
You now be no Maori.
I briefly played for the All Blacks before that photo was poorly doctored. Also, if you think my tattoos are bad, you should see Andy's tattoos. Andy's tattoos are terrible. I mean, he really has. Hugh, we're not saying that you're, you know, but I thought you were generous to do it amidst foliage, which I thought was disgraceful. With the growing sense of inevitability, Chris must now realise that his is possibly the most erotic of all.
Again, that is real. Well, and that has confirmed many people's suspicions that if you see me naked, there is a pussy.
Whose famous face was recently given a makeover?
What? Is this the Jesus story?
This is the Jesus story.
This is like this Spanish woman who tried to restore this painting and just ruined it.
She did. Where was it? By the way? It was in.
It was in Spain.
It was in Spain. I'm trying to
Where
find
the Spanish ladies are.
Yes. And they do dance well. It was in Zaragoza. It was in the Sanctuary of Mercy Church in Zaragoza.
That's it. And the authorities were very cross with her. Because
They
the
were.
only people who are allowed to touch up in a Catholic church are, of course, the priest.
Yes, it was a church, the Sanctuary of Mercy Church near Zaragoza, and there is a century-old...
You really brought Spain to life for us there.
You have to make an effort with foreign names. You can't just be
Do it again.
Zeds and...
And you say Paris, do you?
Zaragoza. Zaragoza.
Wanker.
So, anyway. Hola, ¿qué tal? Sí, bueno. See, the worst thing is I do a Spanish accent, it goes Mexican incredibly quickly. There was a fresco in a church in Zaragoza. This fresco was incredibly beautiful. They call it El Guapismo. Anyway, there was a fresco in a church in Zaragoza.
Where's the fresco?
It's in a church.
Church in Zaragoza.
In a church in Zaragoza. In a church in Zaragoza.
Zaragoza.
How old was it?
It was a century, it was 100 years old.
A whole 100 years.
A whole 100 years old.
What a story this is. My God. Somebody has touched up a 100-year-old painting on a wall.
Week. Zaragoza is a very sleepy town. I think it's much more the case that it was decaying because of where it had been painted, right? And so this is how the fresco looked originally. This is actually a photograph taken some years ago. Now,
Is he still-
this is the fresco. It's painted by Elias Garcia Martinez. I'm going for it. I'm going
Do
for
it,
every
man,
time.
do it.
Right. This is how it looked just recently because the plaster on which it was built had decayed, right? So this is how it looked now.
okay.
So a nice old lady, a nice Zaragozan lady, went in and repainted it. And just paint it up. And this is how it looked when she'd finished.
Picasso would have been proud of that.
He thinks she's done a great job of it.
The thing is,
Here's one I sent in earlier.
It really should be. Like old lady, Zaragoza. I am sorry, people of Zaragoza. We cannot return your paintings. Thank you very much for sending them in to the week's gallery.
Your pennies because they're painted on a wall in a church.
Yeah.
He's actually made Jesus look like a Teletubby.
So she also rounded him off as well. Like she twisted it around and did the whole thing.
she thought she'd done a really good job, though, because everyone that she showed it to went, Jesus Christ!
To be completely fair, we don't actually know what Jesus looked like.
You didn't look like that.
Just assume that he looked like... Who knows? He may...
I tell you what, I'm
This
almost...
might have been the bit that from the Bible.
I'm Jesus.
I tell you what,
Missing in the Bible where Jesus comes in after a botched face job. At supper and everyone says, have you had any work done, Jesus? No!
You know my furry hat? My furry hat goes all the way around.
She's actually seeing the restorer next week, isn't she? Because she's got to tell the restorer exactly what materials she used to do that. And you're thinking all she's going to produce is half a potato.
the irony is she is probably older than the fucking fresco.
Okay, at the end of that round, the points go to Chris Hero Short. Now we come to scenes we'd like to see. So if everyone can make their way over to the performance area, I'll read out this week's topics, and then we'll see what our panelists can come up with. Okay, here we go. The first subject is rejected questions from this year's exams.
If sine A over A equals sine B over B equals sine C over C, what are the chances that you're ever going to use this in your sodding adult life?
According to Germany, how much is Greece worth? 1 mark.
Exam board of Zaragoza. Paint Jesus.
Jonathan is a Nigerian prince. What are your credit card details?
3 girls in this hall are pregnant. Who's the daddy?
Compare the following. A, the market. B, the meerkat.
Heat the crystals until they produce a vapour. Inhale. The exam seems easier now, doesn't it?
Without swearing, describe Peter Andre.
Mental arithmetic. Count up the voices in your head.
Using the paper provided, roll a joint and pass it round.
Does this look infected?
In the recent Olympics, Great Britain won 3 times as many gold medals as Australia. That's not a question, just a statement.
One Direction are incredibly popular. Explain.
Sport. How do you spell Akabusi? Is it A-K-B-U-C? Yes or no?
If Steve eats 2 apples, an orange and a banana, why is he such a fat fucker?
OK, next topic is things you didn't hear at the Olympics.
And that's yet another gold medal for Ireland.
So this is one thing I grew tired of was the Canadian national anthem.
Well, there's Prince Harry in the crowd. I would recognise those buttocks anywhere.
Well, what an opening ceremony. James Bond, Harry Potter, Mary Poppins, showing the world that the greatest Britons are fictional.
Sweltering conditions here at the ladies' beach volleyball final, but still those 4 blokes in the front row haven't taken their coats off.
Ta-da!
And that's the starting pistol, and they're running. They finished. To be honest, I usually do the snooker.
Welcome to Greco-Roman wrestling, where a man from Greece and a man from Italy wrestle each other for the €1 coin they found on the floor.
Claire balding there, but very slowly, and she's still got more than Colin Jackson.
And the long jumper from Sierra Leone there, raking the sand for landmines.
You've got to admit he's pretty fast for a white guy.
Well, let's look at the 400-metre hurdles. Those are very big hurdles.
And the winner is jumping up and down with delight, which will probably see them disqualified from the wheelchair marathon.
Well, it's the treble. It's the 3 he wanted. Usain Bolt has really enjoyed his night with the Swedish women's handball team.
And next up, it's the dressage, or as it's properly known, river dance for horses.
And now it's time for the clean and jerk, and clean again with an old sock.
OK, at the end of that round, the points go to Alan, Andy and Andy. And that's the end of the show. This week's winners are Chris Addison, Hugh Dennis and Stuart Francis. Commiserations to Andy Parsons, Andy Osho, and Alan Cochrane. Thank you for watching. Good night.
Another chance to catch the Rob Brydon Show tonight on BBC Two with Jason Manford, Neil Morrissey and Ronan Keating at 11:20 after Newsnight next.